What is up, Pats Nation? It is Patriots Global here with another video, and with breaking news, the Patriots have signed 6'3" wide receiver, all-pro receiver, Josh Gordon. And if you know who that is, and this is the first time you're hearing about this, I'm going to give you a second to let that sink in. So yes, the Patriots have made a trade with the Cleveland Browns that will send wide receiver Josh Gordon, also known as the Flash, to the New England Patriots. Now, I also made a video today basically about what we learned from the Patriots' loss to the Jags, and that's actually what it's called. It's going to be called What We Learned from the Patriots' loss to the Jags, but that will come out soon. That was actually supposed to come out before this, but obviously I don't want to wait to put this kind of video out, so you'll hear me reference the possible trade, so just don't be alarmed when you hear that video. But basically, we heard on Saturday that the Browns were releasing Gordon, and everyone got really shocked. The Browns later found out that they actually had a pretty big market for Gordon, so basically they sat back and they were like, all right, what can I get for this guy? And a lot of teams are going after him. I mean, the Cowboys were supposedly in the mix. It was Cowboys, Patriots, Eagles, 49ers, and a bunch of other teams. I actually had discussions about Josh Gordon and the possibility of him coming to the Patriots with someone who sparked the conversation in the comments. So shout out to you, man. You know who you are. And basically, I said I would love the move, but I don't feel like it is a move that will happen. And I'll be darned, it actually happened. I mean, I thought that the odds of it were definitely higher than they would be if they didn't have only 3 wide receivers. But it's just not necessarily a Belichick thing to do, but thank God he did. Shockingly enough, the Patriots only gave up a 5th rounder for Gordon. And basically, if he does not play 10 games, or if he is not active for 10 games, the Browns will end up sending a late round pick back to the Patriots. But for his type of talent, for being all pro, I would have thought that in the mix it would have been maybe a first, but more towards like a 2nd or 3rd rounder. But the Patriots got him for a 5th, and they're supposedly a team that made a big push for him. I'm just really shocked that they got him for only a 5th, and the Browns actually wanted to send him to an NFC team, not an AFC. But like I said, they said that the Patriots made a big push and they just made the trade. It just makes you think, what were the other teams offering if the Patriots were offering just a 5th? Now you might be asking yourself, Patriots Global, that means he's going to be on the 53-man roster, so who are the Patriots cutting? Well, the Patriots are going to be cutting recently signed wide receiver, who they got from the Browns, Corey Coleman. Now, to me, I kind of would have liked them to keep Corey Coleman. I mean, just to see what he has. I mean, maybe he really was still just having issues and the Patriots were like, all right, bye. And if so, then it's understandable, but would have liked to see what he could have possibly had. I also know that the Patriots had a workout today with former Patriot Kenny Britt. I really honestly heard nothing about that, so I don't know where that's going, so maybe it's still a route they take. I also know Jordan Matthews was up in the air because he could return to football after week 3, so maybe one of those guys gets signed to the Patriots also, but we'll see. So why did the Browns want to trade Gordon if he's so good? Well, supposedly for much of the preseason he was dealing with hamstring issues, and that was also the reason that he was inactive for Sunday's game. However, it was reported that he got injured doing a promotional shoot, and he did get an MRI today to basically see what was up with his hamstring injury, and it came back negative. So a lot of people actually were like, don't expect Gordon to play this week. He could be out for 1 to 2 weeks. But reports are saying, many reports are saying that because the MRI came back negative, that he is eligible to play week 3 against the Detroit Lions as long as the Patriots put him in. We all know the Patriots are extremely thin at wide receiver. You'll hear me reference that in my What We Learned from the Loss to the Jags video. You'll hear me reference that the Patriots need a basically just a big name guy to go to. They have average guys, to be quite honest, besides Gronkowski, but they really shut him down. So yeah, I basically was just saying that the Patriots need a great, just not necessarily great, but a threat just an offensive threat, and they definitely got that. Now, he was drafted in 2012 by the Cleveland Browns, so in the 6 years since Gordon was taken in the second round of the supplemental draft, which is just crazy. He wasn't picked in the second round of the regular draft. He was picked in the supplemental draft, and he's doing as well as he is doing. But he has just played 41 games. Literally just 41 games. In 6 seasons, the 6 years he's been in the NFL, he's played just 41 games. In 2013, he led the NFL with 1,646 yards. And then to go with that, he caught 9 touchdowns. Because of how great he did, he ended up earning a spot on the All-Pro roster. Since then, Gordon has had issues being in games, mainly because of suspensions and concerns with drug use and blah, blah, blah. And he actually missed the entire 2015 season for violating the league's substance abuse policy. So maybe he has some straining out to do with the Patriots, but we all know how Bill Belichick can really crack down on people. From what it looked like, it seems like Gordon really likes the idea of being a Patriot. Being a Patriot was actually one of the top picks of where he wanted to go. And look, it ended up working out in his favor. Like I mentioned, he's 6'3", so we are finally getting again that tall wide receiver that we've been missing. You cut Matthews, you cut Britt, you cut Decker, so that height that we had, that amazing height we had, is finally back. I hear a lot of people being like, well, the Brandon Cooks thing didn't work out for New England, so why is this guy going to work out? And you never know. There's nothing I can say that can evidently back that up. But ultimately, Cooks left because of the amount of money he wanted. He wanted to be paid as a top receiver, and now he is paid as one of the top receivers in the NFL. He's actually paid as one of the top players in the NFL. He also wasn't the best fit for the Patriots. Small guy, just relied on his speed. What you're getting with Gordon is you're getting a tall guy, you're getting a very fast guy, but not a guy that just relies on his speed. He's got great hands. But that is it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on Josh Gordon to the Patriots? This is a pretty big move by the Patriots, especially for just a 5th rounder. Oh, and what I forgot to mention was the terms of his contracts and stuff like that. So with the Browns, he had about $940 something, 60 something like that. He had in the $900,000 deal, and he is set to become a free agent at the end of 2019. So basically, the Patriots have him for this year, and then he becomes a free agent, which to me kind of sucks, only because I would like to have him for more than just 1 year. It could prove to be a little bit harder to keep him if he does so well and wants big bucks, but we'll see. But for now, Josh Gordon is a Patriot. So like I was saying before, what are your guys' thoughts on this? We have an all-pro wide receiver on this team. Has some issues with, drugs and stuff like that. So what are your thoughts on that? Make sure you guys let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, as it helps me out very, very, very much. Make sure you guys share this video with everybody so we can grow the Patriots Global family. And other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.